What is going on, guys? Yogizilla here. This is episode 171 of HorsePLAY Live Uncut. We're actually starting on time, doing a little pre-show. I'm still getting set up, and everyone's falling in. Should be a great show tonight. We have a lot of topics to talk about, and I wonder how many of them will make it through. It also depends who's here when we actually start. So stay tuned for that. Of course, I think that at the top of everybody's list is Mass Effect Andromeda. So our tentative theme for tonight is, why is everyone slamming on Andromeda? Is it well deserved, or have we just become super picky? I don't know. And WarChild has added some nice notes to discuss as well, so we will tackle those. Let's get the chat ready. Gaming Death just finished. What the heck just happened? What the heck? Oh wow, I missed a lot of good conversation in the Gaming Death chat. I wish they started earlier because it cuts into our prep time. It was easy when they started at 9 sharp. Now they started around 9:30 tentatively, and then right that time I'm prepping for the show, and maybe we're having last minute dinner and whatnot. I love my better half. She just has no sense. She just, instead of walking to the room, she just screams across the house. So you might hear a little bit of her because she's silly like that. Yeah, I don't see anybody on. Let's see what Beard is up to. Next week, we should be starting a new streaming setup. We're gonna mess around with Twitch Twitch desktop instead of our usual OBS solution. And the idea there is that everyone can do webcam video. So then you're not just looking at my ugly mug. And by the way, before I forget, Mass Effect 2 still available. EA on the house. Make sure I put that in the news. Oh yeah, the Quake Champions beta sign up is underway. I should probably sign up for that. I've been slacking. You know what's kind of gotten quiet is Glint. There's a big thing about that last E3, and is it Glint or Gwent? I always forget. The card game from Don't be mean. Don't be mean, kitty. That's the card game from The Witcher 3. You know what they need to make into a standalone product is what you call it? Will you stop that? My cat's scratching on my chair, being a brat right now. The card game from let me just make it feel like I'm not in the proper distance. Yeah, the card game from Rage. That should be its own thing. I don't know why it's not. But then again, Rage did not get much love. I know WarChild will be running late tonight. I might just start the show now. No point doing a pre-show if no one's really here to test audio and whatnot. And I already see some people coming in, so bear with me. Hope everybody's been doing well. Spring is here. Well, it depends who you ask, really. We're recording good. Yeah, I think we'll start a little early. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Don't you hate when you get that feeling like, I think I'm forgetting something? I know what it is, but I'm sure it'll hit me later. Let's test the audio. This is the All Games bumper. AllGames.com, All Games Radio Network. Or just All Games Network for short. They're the folks that brought us G4 TV. Blue, you want on my lap? Come. She's so restless right now. We have a house guest, so she's doesn't know what to do with herself. Come on. She's like me. She doesn't like rowdiness and confusion. Come on. Oh, the other cat's messing with her too. Well, one of the other cats. she's a 30th size. Come on. Come on, Blue. I'm trying to give you safe haven. Guess she doesn't want it. Let's see if this works.
You are listening to an all...
Yep, sounds good. Sound levels are pretty good. Let's see, check that one more time.
You are listening to an all game.
That looks good. Well, it's 3 to 11. Might as well get started now. Obligatory bumpers, and we'll see you in a bit.
Every Thursday, be prepared to have your mind. As GeekyAntics.net and GamingDeath.com bring you
the Gaming Death Podcast,
featuring all your favorite hosts,
Chris, Caleb, HorsePLAY.
Listen as they get together to talk all about
Video games.
Admission is completely
Free.
First 100 viewers will get a free dick joke.
Thursday.
Every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/GamingDeath.
We thank you. We thank you for every crumb.
You are listening to an All Games Radio Network broadcast of AllGames.com.
Hi, this is Normie from Knuckleballer Radio and Zombie Cast, and you're listening to one of my favorite shows on the Geeky Antics Network. Don't forget to check out the rest of the gang over at geekyantics.net. Warning, there might be rants and food ahead and possibly inappropriate behavior. Don't tell anybody though.
geeks, gamers, furries, and ninja robots. This is HorsePLAY Live. Today's March 23rd, and this is episode 171 of HorsePLAY, tentatively titled, Why is Everyone Slamming on Andromeda? And that Andromeda, of course, is Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'm of course, your bald bear lizard host, Yogizilla. We have a skeleton crew tonight, for now at least, until people start falling in. But we're going to do what we do on this show, which is discussing all things geeky, whether it's gaming, food, rants. You know, we get into all of it. And it's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and hopefully we'll get back to our unicorn poopy, start wrapping up that series. WarChild Mark IV in the house. What's up, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like you have an airplane in the background. Now you sound like Tuca. Is that Tuca pretending to be WarChild? What?
No, this is WarChild calling directly from the war vehicle, a.k.a. my car.
Oh, my lord.
Like from the war ride.
The war... That's
sounds
bad.
My car is bad. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. But
Anyway,
I'm
folks.
doing everything I can to make the show. Doing everything I can.
I feel ya. Well, just so you know, folks, the reason we call this HorsePLAY Live is because we do the show live. It should be obvious. It's in the name, right? We do the show live at twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. For now. There's a lot of talk, a lot of murmuring about everyone wanting to move over to Beam. But, you know, I think people need to do that for the right reasons. You know, rebuilding from scratch is a lot of work. But if you're big Xbox gamers, you know, Beam makes sense because it's all integrated seamlessly. So that might be something we'll consider in the future. We will see. At the very least, maybe we'll use that for our Xbox streaming. Why am I off center here? That's gonna bother me. Hold on. Yeah. There we go. That's much better. Had to adjust the webcam a little bit. But yeah, we're on twitch.tv/Geeky Antics every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. GMT, and you fill in the blanks for everything else. Earlier in the day, at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have HorsePLAY Replay. Sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister. And that's when we play last week's episode of HorsePLAY Live as a rerun. So it's not HorsePLAY Live, it's just HorsePLAY Replay. It's a rerun. That's over at allgames.com. Make sure you tune in. We appreciate it so we can get back up to the top 10. We haven't been in the top 10 for a couple of weeks. We fell off. We used to be in the top 5 every week pretty much, but you know, I get it. It's an extra step. People don't even use web pages anymore. It's like, it's a weird thing. It's like, no, do they have a mobile app? You know, if it doesn't have a mobile app, possibly people are not doing your thing. So, you have to get on that.
Mobile app is good. Mobile apps are great. We'll get back to the top soon.
What else? I guess we might as well just jump into it. Our IRL segments kind of catch up what everyone's week has been like, but it's just me and you, WarChild. So I guess we'll, instead of talking about how our weeks have been, just kind of talk about what's on the top of our heads. And you know, we did a episode of Warbound Radio, episode 3.2. It feels like you've been doing it longer than that.
3.2.
It feels like you've been doing it longer than that, but yeah.
Officially, I put 3.2 because there was that Black Ops episode we filmed or recorded that didn't really record.
Yeah.
Hence the 3.2.
Yes.
But.
Yeah. Had a lot of good conversation going deep on aliens and Predator and all this stuff and sci-fi.
Yeah.
And it's lost in the ether of the internet.
Got
but wait
really
a minute.
deep on the...
Don't you have the Twitch video? Didn't it stream to Twitch?
Oh, yeah, Twitch. It didn't record the first episode. The original episode 3. It was streaming, but it never recorded. I didn't have it set to archive because I had...
No, dude. You know, you could download.
No, this was the last one. The one we did last. Wait, what?
Was we have a bit of a lag.
No, I'm telling you, it never recorded on Twitch.
No.
It never recorded on Twitch.
No. Did it stream though? Do you have the archive on Twitch?
That's what I'm saying. Whenever we streamed it the first episode we streamed, it never archived because I forgot to set the because number one, it was on Warbound Radio Twitch, the channel I started for Warbound Radio, and I didn't have it set right because it was a brand new channel.
Why would you set up more than one Twitch channel? You're trying to give yourself more work? You're crazy, man. Yeah, because now Twitch by default does not save your past broadcasts. What an asinine system. Because I was just saying you could just rip the audio straight from that. But hard lessons learned.
Everything in. So, hello?
Dude, you're killing me, bro. You're so lagged right now. It's like you're like 5 seconds behind what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. It's like these stupid Georgia backwater highways. I'm on like 285 right now, trying to get home, and
yeah, you're clearly driving through some dead zones because I can hear it when you like temporarily lose connection. Crazy.
I didn't want to let the gang die. I didn't want to let it down.
Well, Beard's not here, that bum.
Even through this like 56K connection, I'm trying to make it work.
Yeah, I tell you, everything's so data intensive now. If you have a cell phone provider that throttles connections, they say, oh, it throttles it to 3G. No, it throttles it to 2G, and 2G is pretty much unusable. You can't even stream podcasts at that rate because all the streaming technology assumes you have a really good connection. The only one that I found is actually pretty reliable in streaming is actually Stitcher, because they use crazy compression, and I try to encourage all our podcast hosts to stick to 64K, because 96K is the difference isn't that big, but the file size is different. And anything beyond 96K is overkill for spoken word. If you're doing live music, then you might have to bump it up a little bit. 96K is basically CD audio quality. 128 is more crisp, but man, that file size will kill you. And you got to think about it. Some people still download podcasts, so you got to consider
that is true.
With and stuff. Yeah, but what can you do? So, lots has been going on in the geekosphere. A few games dropped. Notably, as far as I'm concerned, Mass Effect Andromeda and The Surge. The Surge is not the game I thought it was. I was thinking about another game they showed at E3 that was more horror, but The Surge looks promising either way. Before we get into the Mass Effect Andromeda first impressions, I really want Beard here, because his prediction was that it was going to be a stinker. Also, if you love the retro scene, chances are you probably listened to the Retronauts podcast, and they are now on a new network, so the only way you can listen to their news episodes is by going through their network's podcast app or through iTunes, but the third-party podcatchers don't work. Oh, you can use Beyond Pod. You just can't use the other syndication services like Stitcher. Anyone that basically mirrors the feed rather than just using the native feed won't pick up the podcast anymore because they signed some kind of exclusivity deal with this network. But one of the last episodes they had really got me thinking. Did I mention the TV shows that have been out, particularly Iron Fist?
Like Iron Fist and what else? They're working on a Punisher, I know. I think they're saying that's going to drop maybe September. And when I was trying to find that information out as well, there was a rumor that there was going to be a Jessica Jones season 2 coming soon as well.
I can't wait. We'll circle back to that. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm in a minority. I actually really like Jessica Jones. We'll circle back to that. But back to Retronauts. They did a really good episode on Activision, and this ties into what we were discussing on the Unicorn Poopies a couple of weeks ago, with how the developer and publisher scene for video games has really changed. The whole notion of mid-tier, kind of third-party developer doesn't really exist anymore. Like it's still around, but it's hard to put your finger on it because now what you have is game studios that are either indie or they tread a very thin line, or they're more like contractors, like they just contract out the work. And then of course the undeniable ones, the big publishers, the big developers,
the exclusive. Yeah, like it's funny because Bungie they splintered off, and the main one for Microsoft became 343, and was it Black Tusk Studios became the Coalition, which is underneath Microsoft's rule, because Gears of War is an Xbox exclusive, just like Halo's an Xbox exclusive. I guarantee you, is Iron Galaxy kind of a exclusive to Xbox? I don't know, because
I'm not sure about Iron Galaxy, but I know Twisted Pixel was at least, and Rare is another one. People also forget Mass Effect used to be an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah,
that was kind of a big
back
deal,
then.
Man. Yeah.
I think Dragon Age might have been the same too. I could be wrong.
No, Dragon Age Origins came out on PC first, if I'm not mistaken, and then they had a console port. Or might be released at the same time, but for some reason Origins was better received on PC. It felt more distinctly PC. Dragon Age 2, as much people complain about it, that's really where it got optimized for console gameplay. Speaking of Dragon Age, I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and that game is fantastic. Hopefully we'll come back to that. I want to share my adventures in Dragon Age Inquisition.
I remember you last night. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Dude, the dragon came out of nowhere. Like, I saw some like leaves, just like I heard some rustling, and then I saw some leaves floating around. And then next thing you know, I saw this big shadow. I look up, freaking huge dragon flies right over my head, and it starts burning this like town in front of me. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna turn back. I'm not ready for this right now.
See, but that's what makes it funny, because you saw all of that. Meanwhile, I'm like, so Yogi, what do you think about this? Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's shit then. Thank you, Yogi.
It was
good talking with you.
It was really good timing. That's why I don't play games while podcasting. My focus is split, and then stuff like that happens.
See, I guess I was different, because I think I'm a two-sided gamer. It's like sometimes I'll get into it once I'm around a group of people, but like if it's just me, or if I'm super focused, I'll stay quiet. But I can still have a conversation. It's funny.
It's debatable, but I'll give you a point.
Come on, look. Whenever I first started on HorsePLAY Live, you had no idea I was playing games.
At times, because sometimes you lose place in the conversation, and it'll be like a brief bit of dead air. Trust me, when I do the post-production, I kill like 30 to 40 minutes worth of dead air. Like at times, it's crazy. So you multitask better than most, but the reality is, when you multitask, that just by nature, you don't really fully engage with whatever you're doing. You do everything decently.
You should see me at work. You should see me at work. Like, oh my God, he just grew a third arm. Like, yep, that's me. Arm.
You're juggling stuff, but like there's certain things that you have to focus on 100%. Multitasking is just an inherent the way it works. Inherently, you're not like putting in 100%. You might put in 90%. People think they put 100%, but they don't. You know what I mean? It's the people that think they can multitask and drive, even though statistically the odds are against them, because statistically about 1% of the human population can actually multitask and drive and be safe. So, you people that love to mess with your radios and put on makeup and drink some beverages while you're driving, whatever kind of stuff you're doing, Stop it. Focus on the road. Thank you.
You know, the makeup's not even that bad anymore. It's like funny thing. I was coming home. Yes, that's what I'm doing. But I'm doing a damn good job at it. That's what I was about to get to. Like, no lie, about 20 minutes ago, as soon as I got off of work, you know, as soon as you get off of work, you're like, yeah, I'm going home. Trying to do that. In the lane, this gold beat-up Honda, driving like 10 miles per hour. Speed limit is 45 miles per hour. I'm like doing one of these, you know, I'm like going, I'm stopping, I'm going, I'm stopping, and then I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, after about the 10th time of doing that, I'm like, nope, let me get around this person. Get around the person, and the crazy thing is the way they make these cell phones nowadays, it might as well have been like an HD TV in their lap, because lo and behold, they were looking at their cell phone, texting.
Yep.
That is the one thing I hate about it. This is one thing I hate seeing people do as they drive is text.
Yep. I mean, you put your cell phone on your lap, on your leg, in between your legs, on your center console, and all you need is one little bump. You hit the brakes too hard, or you hit a curve too sharp, then that thing flies, and then it goes under one of your pedals and fill in the blanks. It's not a good recipe.
Well, you don't just use a GoPro attachment and put it right on your steering wheel?
Well, I mean, you know, if you have a little mount for it, that's the smart way to do it. But still, even then, your attention's split. That's the point. And hello, beard and hat. Just in time.
My attention's always split.
Well, so that means you don't want to split it further. So we're just talking about some retro stuff. Retronauts podcast. Get back to that. We're talking about how, you know, we've been thinking about how the scene has changed for publishers and game studios. And people forget Activision has very humble beginnings. And it's really hard, even for me, like, growing up and seeing them develop. Like, how did they get so big? Like, at what point, what was it? And it's really hard to pinpoint it to one single thing. Whether it's the Call of Duty
Tony
success.
Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk definitely helped.
Yeah,
but
Tony
it wasn't
Hawk definitely.
But it wasn't a single thing. It was like several things over time that finally helped them out.
It was here's what it is. It was Tony Hawk and it was Guitar Hero. From there, it exploded. Those were the two. Those were the two that really cemented them at the peak, and then they started cranking out the Call of Duties because those started to hit.
Did Activision and Acclaim have anything to do with each other?
No, but they had a similar flavor. Like it's very easy to confuse them. Like I used to always see people, and I did at times. I would confuse Activision, Data East, and Acclaim because they had similar kind of properties. You know, similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
They did a lot of arcade style games. You know, and the thing is, when Activision, so this is the quick history for those that don't know. Activision actually started as a group of people that were pissed off at Atari and moved on to do their own thing. And there were some really big names early on in Activision. One of the things that really helped them out is that they had a CEO that had the financial ability to float them while they took risks. So they were really one of the first third-party developers for console. When the Atari 2600 was just churning out, Atari themselves, they were kind of churning out crap. Activision started putting out some more quality products. And one of the big reasons that they went off to do their own thing is because at the time, you know, if you were lucky as a developer, you made $30,000. Now, hold your horses. And people are like, $30,000, that is nothing. But $30,000 back then is the equivalent of maybe 80, 90K today. So they weren't making, it wasn't really shit. But companies were making money hand over fist. Like, they were making way more than what they were paying their employees. So the big wigs were just getting all those profits, right? Because, you know, video games was actually booming. It was doing really well. The novelty of it really caught on with people. And so they were like, well, we should get royalties. And Atari was like, no. And so they went and did their own thing, and Atari tried to fight back by trying to sue them. Like, oh, you're using programming techniques that we developed. Well, no, this is my programming technique, and you can't own a technique. You know, you can't patent that unless you have a specific process that's unique to your brand, and you know, you
Or your
patent
name
that.
is Will I Am.
The what?
Or your name is Will I Am for the from the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh my God. Random.
Patent everything.
Yeah,
You saying he patents everything.
people do that, but I mean, a lot of those patents,
Beatboxing.
they might get approved, but they won't necessarily hold up in court because it's hard to prove some of these things, you know. Some are easier than others, you know, but it's just interesting how Activision started off with these humble beginnings, and now they're kind of known as one of the asshole companies in video games, you know. Like anything that's sort of the Activision, you're like, yeah, they're freaking penny pitching, they're nickel and diming everybody, but you know, you gotta give them props. Activision paved the way for other third-party developers, and they also kind of started the achievement system, trophy system as we know it today, because they had this thing where if you hit certain milestones or scores in their games, and you took a picture of the screen, you know, with like a Polaroid or camera, and sent them the photo, you know, and they had guidelines how to do it. Don't use a flash bulb, blah 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 blah, right? And you sent them that proof, they would send you a patch, you know, like an iron-on patch type of thing, and that was your achievement. Fun fact.
I would like that to come back.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd like to have little platinum badges.
Dude, how tits would that be? Like to have actual patches you could put on a book bag or a hoodie that you like. Like especially
I'd have a full-on like leather jacket covered in nerdy shit. Oh man, it'd be great.
Dude, like whoever, and I bet you someone's gonna listen to this, and they're gonna say, you know, that's a great idea. Like it's not a really hard thing to execute. Like make achievement patches. A third party could do it. Of course, once the third party comes in, they'll bet you these publishers will come in and say, hey, we need to get a cut. Those are our achievements. I know, well, eat a dick. You didn't think of it first. So we'll cut you some of the revenue. That's it. Or we'll just stop selling your patches. How about that? But
exactly.
There's something there, man. But, you know, this is the world we live in. Pack-ins and physical stuff. They don't bother with it because they want pure profit. But I think there's a great opportunity there. What a great way it'd be to really build loyalty and get people talking about your games everywhere. Like, oh, I recognize that patch. That's from the blah, blah, blah achievement that only 1% of the gamers worldwide have. And automatically make a connection.
You better believe I will have my MAG Platinum trophy. Middle of my chest like I'm fucking Iron Man with it. It's only 1,000 of us.
But the sad thing
Come
is,
get some.
in order to even or if you have that Gears of War achievement, the one where you have to kill, like, God, what is it called? Sirius 2.0 and so on and so forth, because it's in every single Gears of War game. Yeah, I think it's like 100% completion or something. I can't remember, but there's only a certain amount of people that have that. Am I going?
No. I'm trying to think. The achievement you're talking about. See, I stopped achievement hunting a long time ago, but you know that'd be a neat.
Seriously,
if there was some more third-party support for achievements and have ways to show it off, and there could be something there. There might be something there. There might still be opportunity there. But I think Tuka's trying to get in here, so let me pull him in. Tuka, make sure your window's rolled up. Fire alarm's off. Are you ready? Is your body ready? No? Okay. He'll probably jump in when he's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm here.
Oh, there you go. We were just talking about the humble beginnings of Activision and how the game industry has changed so much. I mean, it's just fascinating, like, who the big players used to be. Like, Atari used to be huge. And another thing people don't give Atari credit for is that a lot of what Apple is can be attributed to Atari, especially like from a cultural perspective. Atari used to be very like progressive and like chill. Like it was an awesome company to work for. Like I guess you could say that was the Google of their time. And a lot of people that went on to work for Apple started in Atari. Like we owe so much to Atari, but nowadays no one gives Atari respect. And I think a big part of it is because Warner Brothers tainted Atari when they acquired them. It's a shame. Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
still,
when your company kind of falls apart, not even part of your own doing, you lose the respect of your name.
No, and it's such a great brand, like that, an iconic logo, and but Warner Brothers, man, they just don't get the video game industry. I'm convinced of that. But what are you saying, too?
They tried.
They tried.
I was saying that E.T. kind of destroyed Atari. That they completely rushed that, but they was pressured by, was it Warner Brothers that did E.T.?
I forget I think that was the first party game, but E.T. didn't single-handedly kill Atari. It was a series of unfortunate events.
I'm saying that was.
What are you talking about? I thought E.T. nearly cratered the entire video game industry before Nintendo.
That's what I'm saying. Like that like before then they did E.T. Before E.T. Atari was on a downward spiral, but E.T. totally just would like nuked it. It was like the megaton of all fuck ups. Like,
I mean,
E.T.
The big problem was not so much E.T. E.T. was the final straw that broke the camel's back. But what people forget is Atari 2600 games. When the market got flooded with games, like first of all, there wasn't the logistics capabilities we have now, where there's a supply that matches the demand. So a lot of times there would be overproduction and not enough demand. So that's one of the things that happened with ET, and that's something that publishers are good about handling. That's one of the main reasons you go with a publisher rather than just self-distributing, so you can get that as close to one-to-one ratio as possible, so you don't have all these thousands of copies just in a landfill somewhere. But once the third parties came in, the market got flooded with games. But the video game crash was mainly a U.S. thing. In the U.K., they had a whole different experience. You ask someone in the U.K., what do they think about the video game crash circa 1983, and they'd be like, what? It didn't happen for them. But it was with us, the market got so flooded, and then the demand never caught up. I mean, I remember going to stores and finding bins filled with a shit ton of video games, brand new, $1 a piece. Even back then, that was a steal.
I remember that. I remember the later on effects of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that didn't recover until the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, after Nintendo, pretty much, that's when the video game market started recovering. Because Nintendo more so marketed as the entertainment system versus having like a video game arcade in your house. They played it smart with just marketing. That's what Nintendo was really smart with their marketing.
See, ironically though, the NES had more shovelware than the Atari 2600. Because by then there was so many third-party developers. There was a shit ton of throwaway titles on the NES. But like you said, at that point, they positioned it in a manner where people were more willing to jump in. They focused it more as a toy rather than this elusive entertainment system. Even though they called it their entertainment system, they always made sure retailers placed it in the toy department where it would get the best exposure. Whereas the Atari 2600 was more seen as an appliance, consumer electronic. They didn't know what to do with it. Oh, let's place it next to VHS players. Let's place it next to the refrigerators. I mean, the retailers had no idea. It was brand new to them, by then they learned, and NES came in, and Nintendo was able to take advantage. They were a big reason it succeeded, but a lot of it was timing. Everybody else fucked up. ColecoVision, Intellivision, all these other precursors came in and paved the way, and then Nintendo came in and went yoink.
Yeah, they was real smart about it, in my opinion. There's where a lot of good information on that is. If you look on Netflix, for those listening, there's one documentary called. It's a real good documentary about like the evolution of video games.
What's it called? Are you talking about Ready Player One?
No, it's just called Video Games.
Okay,
that's
you
what
cut
it's
off.
called on Netflix.
You cut off. That's why. He's like, it's a really good documentary called. Like, oh yeah, it's a good one. I've heard of that one.
I know, right? It's a documentary called Video Games. It's like got the evolution of video games from back when it started, all the way back to when they did Base Wars on the first visual computer. All the way up until like I think that came out 2015. That Netflix documentary came out. So it's a really good watch.
Now, a lot of people give props to the Commodore 64, and it definitely has its place. The Commodore 64 was the first affordable microcomputer, and it was awesome. But as much as I'm not an Apple guy, I gotta give credit to the Apple II. Even though Steve Jobs, I think, still went to his grave insisting that I was a commercial failure. But I'm not gonna get into that. But the Apple II came out in '77, and Apple stood by it till like '93. They kept supporting it, even though by then it was like super outdated. But people were still putting out software for it and everything, and there's a nice little.
Didn't they just put out Portal for it?
Oh, there was all kinds of stuff.
No, Portal just came out for the Apple II. Like someone just finished making Portal for the Apple II recently.
Oh, I thought you said porno. Portal.
No,
that's a whole different thing.
Portal.
No, I heard that. I don't know for sure.
You know where your mind is, Yogi.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking because it was funny as porno on the Apple II. It was like pixelated porno. It was like, what is that? I figure it's a nipple. Ooh, that's hot. Let's see. Portal. I think I remember we have had this conversation before. This is about an Apple II version of Portal, the cake acquisition simulator released in 2007. Oh, so that actually was a while back.
Oh, okay. I thought it was recent. I thought I saw something recent about a Portal being ported to some old-ass system.
Well, some guy wrote an article in January about it. What was that, Tuka?
I was saying, I think I heard about Portal being ported to some low-res system, or like something low-res. I think I know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, back in January. January 12th of this year.
I see it now. Oh my god, that's cool.
Portal 2 on the Apple II.
Complete with the remade Still Alive theme song. Oh, that's great. I mean, you gotta have that.
That's insane. That's insane, but it's beautiful.
You know,
there's no reason for it. There's no reason for that to exist at all.
It looks like it could be really fun. Like, those old games still hold up really well, as far as I'm concerned. You don't have to be a
That's why there's so many. That's why there's so many new games that look just like the old games.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Why Axiom Verge exists.
That's a great game.
Because these big companies don't seem to realize this is what we want.
I think also what happens when you're not so caught up with the graphics and sound design, you get to focus on the gameplay experience. You know, and that's the way it should be. I think any good game, the focus should be on the gameplay. Is it fun to play? Is there replay value? All right, great. then build around that. I mean, I'd rather have shit graphics and a fun game than have a game that looks great and then it's like the object of this game is to carry a square and pray while you carry it. Okay, and then no, that's it. What? You're praying
Yeah, but
to
then
your
there's games.
square god.
Then there's games like Ico that pretty much just what you described.
Yeah, those some people
And
will
that game's a
argue.
classic.
Yeah. Classic is a very subjective term too.
Not with Ico.
Okay.
No. Ico seems to be pretty unanimous.
Yeah. Yeah. People universally.
I'm a little disappointed that The Last Guardian didn't live up to that.
Well, Last Guardian suffered from Duke Nukem Forever syndrome. It's not a bad game. It's just about 5 years too late.
Yeah, The Last Guardian would have been better had it come out when it was supposed to on the PS3, and we would have been able to accept those janky-ass controls.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely
I mean,
true.
the game plays exactly like Shadow of the Colossus, which is a problem 12 years later.
Yeah. I mean,
Shadow of
imagine
the
if
Colossus,
a game,
we can play in
imagine if a
broadcast.
AAA studio came out with a tank control game today, like OG Resident Evil or Tomb Raider. Oof,
I wouldn't play it.
it won't fly. So
I don't know. I mean, that's what some AAA developers are trying to go that retro route, and still coming out with somewhat decently reviewed games.
Well, yeah, but they're not using the classic control systems in the way they were utilized then, because we've gotten better at making games the way that they control. Looks and aesthetic are subjective.
yeah, and not to
Actually
mention,
playing it and interacting with it isn't.
not to mention the reason that the original Resident Evil was so challenging is because you had to wrestle with the controls. Once you mastered the controls, it was much easier. But half the time you zigged when you should have zagged, or you stutter step, and you're like, oh no, I got myself stuck in the corner. Okay, turn
Oh yeah.
15 degrees to the right. All right, run forward. No, that's backward. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, it was the worst. It was like not only in Resident Evil was you dealing with the controls, you was dealing with the camera as well. Some of those camera angles on Resident Evil, especially Resident Evil 3. Oh my God, running from freaking Nemesis was so annoying. I didn't even finish that game. I beat 2, but 3, man, Nemesis was got on my nerves. All I hear, stars, and then he shoots a rocket at you, and then I had to hurry up. Like, I literally hurry up and had to go through a door. I'm in the middle of doing a goddamn puzzle, trying to find a night piece, and the next thing you know, stars. He's busting through the wall, shooting rockets at you. I'm like, fuck.
Though I gotta say, I would like to see that mechanic come back and more fleshed out. Like a mechanic where there's like imagine if you have you play a game where a bounty hunter or multiple bounty hunters are constantly chasing after you, and it's not scripted, it's timed. So if you take too long, you linger too long in a certain area, all of a sudden you get jumped. Oh my God! Like a constant fire lit behind your ass.
Those 2 games like that. The one where they brought back the whole Nemesis thing, where you know somebody was after you constantly, was Resident Evil, the new Resident Evil, 7, with the Baker family or whatever the name was. I forgot the name, but they constantly was coming after you. You can be in the middle of doing the only place you were safe was in the save room, period. And then one that they jumped you in was Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 by far had one of the best what they call that system, the director. Let you sit there and link, because I've done this.
Oh yeah.
I was lingering and I was like, okay, let me go search for something, try to figure out. Then next thing you know, a whole shitload of zombies start coming at you.
Yeah.
And then they'll send, if you sit there and linger for longer and you have it on the higher difficulty, they'll send a tank after you. They'll start sending a whole bunch of special infected after you. And don't even get me started if you're playing versus, like online, where 4 of y'all are the humans and 4 of y'all are get switched out between the infected and trying to stop them from getting to the checkpoint. Man, that was they did a real good job. That's why people so much are looking forward to a Left 4 Dead 3, but you know, Valve.
Yeah,
they're not going to come out with anything.
Valve doesn't need to make video games anymore.
No, they don't.
And they can't count to 3, so there's
no, they can't. What comes after 1?
This is how Valve.
2. What comes after 2?
This is how Valve counts. They're like 1, 2, $1 billion. Like what? Like huh? Okay, I guess. So the I know you don't watch too much V-Beard, but I'm gonna just ask anyway. Have you watched Iron Fist at all?
No, but from what I've heard, the critics are being a little unfair to it.
Yes, I've heard the same thing. I've watched the first 6 episodes for myself, and I get it. It starts out super duper slow. It does. But for the most part, like one of the controversies that really pissed me off was them talking about whitewashing.
Oh my God!
Where the hell is whitewashing in there?
Oh,
Danny Rand in the comics is white, so they're talking about he needs to be Oriental. No, not Oriental. He's not. He is not an Oriental character anywhere in Marvel Comics. He was always a white guy. So they did right by making him being played by a white guy. Like, look.
I think the best part of that argument I heard, though, was someone turned it around and it was like, so only Asian people are allowed to know Kung Fu? That's a little racist.
Like, oh my God, that was like me. Like I get the whole not this year, but last year they were talking about the Oscars, whitewashing Oscars, like that, where they're talking about, you know, even with Avatar, you know, how they did Avatar, The Last Airbender, the actual movie, but when I can see them going by the script, by what the past is, but there is no indication whatsoever in all of Iron Fist that I have seen to where you can say there's whitewashing. Give credit where credit is due. I don't know what the critics are talking about, given in the 18 on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 20-something on Metacritic or something like that. It's ridiculous. It's not that bad.
Garbage virtue signaling, and it's just them pretending to be as modern and progressive as they can be while not actually paying attention to the actual source material.
Exactly. That's the one thing I don't like about critics. A lot of them don't know the source material. Now, when it comes to comic books, movies and stuff like that, they don't know the source material. So they can't really give, in my opinion, a real valid opinion on those subjects. Come on now.
Also, it's worth noting that there's a huge divide between the critics and the audience scores. On Rotten Tomato, you have the scores range from 80 to 90 on the most part for the audience, and the average tomato meter is 18%, which tells you that the critics are completely out of touch. So,
well, look at the Ghostbusters reboot. Look at that on Rotten Tomatoes and tell me that there isn't something completely wrong with the reviewers.
Let's see what they put on there. Ghostbusters.
I mean, by all accounts, that wasn't a good movie.
Yeah.
They never should have rebooted.
That movie had no soul. Yeah, see, the critics gave it a 73%. The audience gave it 53%. But at least those those scores are
That's a little bit
more
closer
visible.
than it was.
Yeah.
That's gotten closer since the DVD review. So all the people who were on the fence that didn't go see it rented it and were like, "Meh, that was better than seeing it in theaters."
Yeah, I heard it was I didn't see it. I heard it was only mediocre. I mean, that's like you said, there's a like between reviewers and actual people buying the game and playing it or watching the movie, stuff like that, or the, like for instance Iron Fist, there's always such a huge divide. Like to me, Iron Fist maybe ranked around like Thor 2 or maybe Iron Man 3, like somewhere around there, to where it was okay, but it was not something that you go like, oh man, I gotta go see it. Like, no, it's like, okay, I mean, it was decent. Like, so like from what I've seen so far with Iron Fist is decent. It's going to set up to the Defenders, and that's all they thought about. From in my opinion, watching it, is they're setting up for the Defenders. That's all.
Yeah, isn't that was the whole point?
Yeah.
Yeah, they achieved their point 100%. That they
I still wish. I wish they did Moon Knight instead of Iron Fist. I think that would have been cooler. But
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would have been cool.
but I like Luke Cage.
Was Cloak and Dagger part of that scene? Weren't they?
Later on, I think.
You could see
I don't
that'd
think
be
they were in the
dope.
first run of the Defenders.
Yeah.
I could be
And
wrong.
And I mean, the original Defenders, which I think most people forgot about, was Doctor Strange, Hulk, and who's the third guy? Oh, Namor, the Submariner. But then
Aquaman 2.
They're reserving them for for what is it?
Age of
Infinity
Ultron.
War.
Yeah, Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War.
Those are the big names.
Which I found out, they just started filming, and I literally live like down the street from their studios.
Oh, are they doing it in Atlanta or Georgia?
That's where they did Civil War, and that's where they did what other one that they did, because that's where one of the Marvel studios is in Atlanta. So
nice.
Yeah, they've been, and a lot of people are filming out here now because the tax breaks are massive. So, folks, if you're in event management or you have stagehand, crew experience, this might be a good place to relocate. Just throwing that out there. A lot of people are coming out here to film. I mean, Walking Dead is right in our backyard.
Oh yeah, they had when I was had a couple of passengers. What was it? A couple of days ago, they was asking where some of the places that they filmed The Walking Dead at. I was like, you know what? I don't know.
Sonoya. That's the main place.
Oh, okay. There was like one of the restaurants and stuff like that, because they have some Walking Dead's attractions here. So.
Dude, Sonoya is like surrounded by woodland. It's like all green all around, and then it's like a small like downtown kind of area, like old town kind of setup, like with quaint little shops, boutique type of things. Dude, it's a cool little place. It's like a little like safe haven type of town. It's crazy. You gotta check it out, man. Definitely worth visiting. But just keep in mind, like, you gotta make that a day trip, because like after 5, everything shuts down.
Dang, after 5, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. They have a nice little coffee shop there. The gift shop is cool. A lot of cool things, man. It's a nice little town. And you can tell, like, the income from The Walking Dead, they've been investing in the town. Like, everything's clean, and, like, all the storefronts, the facades are, like, immaculate. It's crazy, dude. They have their own kind of version of the Hollywood Walk, too. Like, all the stars and stuff. Because they filmed scenes from Footloose there. and a bunch of other movies. I just can't think of them right now. A little fun fact.
That's cool.
There you go. So yeah, I don't want to get too deep on it because I was hoping WarChild would be here. We kind of talked about it on Warbound Radio, but I personally like Iron Fist. Like, okay, Daredevil, universally beloved. That's probably number one for everyone. Jessica Jones, I get why people don't like it because she's an anti-hero. It's very dark. It's a lot of melodrama. It's a different kind of story, and most people just want the action, and that's not really Jessica Jones. All right, so fine. But Iron Fist to me is better than Luke Cage, because even though I loved Luke Cage and the urban setting is something I related to, Luke Cage, outside of his little catchphrase, "Sweet Christmas," and every now and then remembering to crack a smile, he had no emotional range, and I found him kind of boring. I know that's his character, but like I didn't feel invested in him. It's like, all right, cool. He got impenetrable skin, and then he got to bang some hot girls. Cool story, bro.
I was waiting for
That's him in the comics, though.
Yeah.
I know. I was saying, and I never liked him in the comics either. Like he's like, yeah, okay, cool.
I can't wait.
He had a great couple story arcs in post Civil War the first time around when they were the new Avengers.
Oh yeah. Like I just don't feel he's a strong enough character by himself, but when he has a great supporting cast around him, like Jessica Jones, other heroes, of course Hadi Makati, Rosario Dawson, then we're talking.
I'm waiting for to see him in Iron Fist because they were the heroes for hire. That was a big thing with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Them being standalone is like, oh, okay, yeah, they're decent, but their strength in the comics came from them being on the Defenders and them being together and them being support, especially when Civil War came out. That's where you really saw them shine, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So,
no, when they team up, that'll be interesting. I just don't think Luke Cage is interesting enough on his own, and that show, like, there just weren't good enough villains in there. Like, it's just Cottonmouth was cool, but what's he gonna do? Smooth talk you and play the piano to death? All right, yeah, no, it just felt like an unfair confrontation. So he's a cool character, but then Shades, all right. Look, and this is no one can say, "Oh, you're just being racist." Look, Shades is supposed to be like the Puerto Rican guy, right? And I found him dumb. Like, oh, he's got shades on, so they call him Shades, and he just hangs in the back. He's so mysterious, and he amounted to nothing. Like, oh, but he's mysterious because he's kind of manipulating everything in the background. Like, you don't really know where his loyalties lie. They never did anything with that. Like,
yeah, they didn't.
Luke Cage, like, I'm surprised that didn't get slammed. Like, there's fundamental issues with the writing on that. But we forgave it because it gave the minorities a lot more representation, and he kicked ass. And like, so it was such a visceral experience, but there wasn't really substance. Now, Iron Fist had a lot of substance. It's actually fleshing out the Netflix side of the Marvel universe. It's setting up the Defenders. They're bringing back and tying together other characters. Like Madame Gao is in there, and I always found her interesting. They finally explain a lot more about her. And you learn more about the Hand, and there's references to Daredevil and all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, it's all coming together. Like, I just see like what people are seeing in Iron Fist. They're like, oh well, a white guy knows kung fu. Well, kung fu isn't an actual fighting style. Kung fu quite literally just means martial arts. It's not a specific style. Sorry to burst your bubble. So that's a nonsensical thing. Oh, you can't learn kung fu if you're not Chinese. Like, you can't learn martial arts if you're not Chinese. There's so many different kind of martial arts. Do you not understand what martial arts are? Okay, go fuck yourself.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to use logic here. Stop it.
Yeah. You're not allowed to defend yourself unless you're Chinese.
Nope.
And I don't know. The only thing I give people is there is kind of this recurring thing where he loses his temper and then he rushes into like really dumb fights.
Isn't that every superhero origin story?
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm saying, like, if I really had to look for something, that's the one thing. And the fact that the Iron Fist is the defender of Kung Lung. Obviously, he had a teacher, multiple teachers, right? So why the fuck aren't they defending Kung Lung in his absence? Like, they kind of addressed that towards the end, but that was something that made it hard for me to suspend my disbelief. Is like, really? This is the one guy defending heaven, basically? Okay.
Because he's the supreme fist, you know. I guess because at the end of the day, maybe the others weren't quote unquote worthy or something in order to gain the title of Iron Fist. And like we were talking about yesterday, Iron Fist, his friend Davos is actually the Steel Phoenix in a different universe, which is similar to the Iron Fist, just in a different one of the different heavenly cities.
I mean, I get all that, but just logically, like, all right, it's like putting one person on watch guard's duties. Like, all right, you're gonna be in the watchtower, defend this amazing place with all the treasure and beautiful women of the world. Good luck. Like,
I guess it's about like
what are you guys gonna do? We'll be masturbating.
I guess it's about like it's about like Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme. Granted, you are going to have other sorcerers involved in the storyline, but their quote unquote leader will be Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. You've got, it's basically like a chess game. You've got the pawns, you've got your other pieces like the rooks, you've got the knights, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the main one that's going to be important, that's going to lead them or protect them, is going to be the Iron Fist. So that's just how I look at it.
I don't like your logic. Stop it.
This is the thing. Like, Go ahead, Tuka.
I was gonna say, like, another analogy you can put it in is like on Naruto. How they have like the Hokage, like he's supposed to be the most powerful ninja and he protects the village, but you still have all those other ninjas that are close to being as powerful as him, helping to defend. Now, I don't know why. I haven't watched all of Iron Fist, and I only know snippets of the backstory. But I get what WarChild's saying. Like as far as like the Iron Fist is, the defender of Kung Lao, but then you still have those other ones that are just as powerful, but they just haven't achieved that level. Just like Doctor Strange too, as well.
Because the Iron Fist is a part of the immortal weapons that are represented by different the immortal weapons basically represent different cities and protect different cities. So, like I said, Steel Phoenix is one of them, and I think there's at least 5.
I mean, again, I get that. I mean, this is a problem that a lot of superhero stories have, and like most superhero stories and like epic storytelling formats, like anime does a lot. It's always like the one, like the Jet Li movie, like, oh, that's the one. Like, this is one guy in all of the universe that will save everyone. Like, that seems very unlikely, right? But okay, whatever, I'll buy it. But they usually do a good job of making you buy into it. But here, clearly he has his flaws. Clearly someone taught him how to fight and they're still alive. It just doesn't make logical sense. Like, okay, that's his assigned role, but they didn't make me believe it. Like, oh, hey, well, no one's standing guard, so I guess we'll just sit back and take it up the ass, even though we taught him how to fight and we could probably defend this as well. And I don't know. That's the only thing I have to say. Like, they could have done a better job making up. Like in Naruto, everybody does their part. Yeah, you have the Hokage who provides the leadership and everything, but everyone pulls their weight. Like, they don't just sit back and say, well, he's the Iron Fist, so let him do the work because that's his job. Again, if he doesn't do his job, we'll just sit back and get killed.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, those other people that trained them should be strong enough to protect the Kung Lao. But just like you were saying, like in Naruto, or like in anything for that matter, like think about somebody that trains you, and then you end up surpassing it. Like Naruto ended up surpassing Jiraiya in strength because even though Jiraiya taught him, he then became stronger than Jiraiya, and he became stronger than Kakashi and all the others. But yet those people trained him. Doesn't take away from their strength, but it just is a testament to that person's strength. Now, just Danny Rand, he has a lot to grow, especially in his temperament and stuff like that. But it doesn't take away from like his fighting ability, like him achieving the level of Iron Fist. He probably had the ability to achieve that level. The other ones didn't have that ability, but they brought him and nurtured him to become that strong, basically.
Yeah, I feel you.
And plus, he was trained by a guy named the Thunderer. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be okay.
I mean, that's my own, and again, that's just my only complaint if I had to nitpick. But I really didn't have any problems with the pacing or anything. I really enjoyed it. Like, I binge watched it in a few sittings, which is, something I don't normally do. And I had trouble sleeping. Said, "Fuck it, I'll watch Iron Fist," and then that made my sleeping even worse because I was like, "I don't want to go to sleep now."
That's how it was with Sons of Anarchy. It's like I'm sitting here, I'm watching, I'm like, wow. I'm gonna look up and like I'm binge watching many hours before work, down to like minutes before work. So.
Man, I had to watch that thing weekly.
You
got to just skip over the shitty seasons. Ooh.
Tragic. So tragic.
I still wonder if I should go back to that show.
Yes.
All right.
It's really good. It ended on a very satisfying note.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
It was a lot better than the ending of Dexter.
Let's not get into that discussion. So one more thing, and we haven't even gotten to our news. We're just round tabling it tonight, but we have to talk about it, guys. And I know, Beard, you be foaming at the mouth. So, Mass Effect Andromeda. Right. Who has gotten to play it, and who has seen it in action?
I've seen it in action. I'm not gonna buy it.
Okay, so
Brace
you stand by.
Harsh swears are coming.
Beard stands by his feelings. Dan, is that correct?
Yeah, not touching it.
Okay.
I have researched it, watched videos on it, yet to play it. I do want to play it. It does seem like I feel like people are being overly too harsh. Sorry, Beard. Overly too harsh on the game.
Probably the same people that don't like Iron Fist. I'm kidding.
I'll give Iron Fist a chance. I just haven't watched it yet. I'm pretty sure the critics are being a little too rough on that, but Andromeda does not look like it's worth my money.
Okay. We'll come back to you, Beard. I want to see what you think about it. And WarChild, what are your initial impressions? Because you got to play the trial, right?
Actually, I didn't because I didn't have EA the EA access.
Oh,
so.
Poop on a stick.
Yeah.
From what you've seen, are you hopeful or scared?
Dude, after I saw the female writer crab walk down the stairs, and then there was like the whole What else happened? I mean, just some of the stuff that I've seen, even the facial expressions, and then like even the romance options, they just feel kind of weird because it's like, "Hey, kiss me, yes, kiss me, okay, thank you." It's like, okay, this is not the Mass Effect I grew up with.
Well, no, they address...
It's like a romance written by 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Can we touch your boobies? Yay!
I mean, for God's sakes, it's like your romance option is like a Turian, some random butch-looking chick, and like just whatever's left. It's just no.
Well, the creative team did go. They went through all the common complaints and concerns and did address all of them. The biggest one being what you call the creeper faces.
Oh,
they
gosh,
explained
yeah.
it that this expedition crew that was sent out, you know, it went through cryo sleep for hundreds of years to go to a remote galaxy and repopulate, right?
So you mean to tell me they're saying that because of the cryo sleep, everybody ended up with Bell's palsy or something?
Well, that's what happened. The cryopods they have gave everybody butterface.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Agreed.
That is bullshit. That is them trying to gloss over the fact that they fucked up hiring a subpar animator to animate those faces.
Mm-hmm.
They took reasonably attractive people as their models and ruined it.
Get a beard.
This is where you know Beard's like he's a graphic designer. He's like, oh hell no, I'm not letting that joke slide. No.
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
man.
That shit goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Fuck
Get
that.
a beard. Get a beard.
I think we just end the show right there.
Oh, man.
God. No. I gotta admit, like, the thing about it that's off-putting is that they don't know if they want to give everybody Disney faces or realistic faces, because they got huge eyes and like features that are only realistic in a cartoon character and work with cartoon characters, but then they're trying to make them ultra realistic and it's creepy as fuck. And yes, Sarah Ryder or whoever the female writer is her face takes some getting used to. And like herpes, you learn to live with it, but it's not a deal breaker
I'm
for
sorry.
me.
She's far from Butterface. She's got like margin face. Margin face.
It's
absolutely a deal breaker. By buying the game, you are encouraging AAA publishers to put out shittier games.
Well,
you're telling them this is acceptable.
I didn't have a problem.
When it shouldn't be.
I didn't have a problem with any of the other faces, really. Like the other ones were like the one, I guess everybody's calling her the butch girl. She's kind of cute, actually. And she looks like she could like slap you up a little bit and be kinky. Like, okay, all right, baby, I like it. Get it rough. Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll put it to you like this: they're about to make me go back to No Man's Sky.
Oh, stop! No, it is not that serious.
Because I mean, you know, it's almost the same.
No,
it's not that close.
Almost.
There's substance in this game.
Come on.
I know it might sound like blasphemy, but I mean, you know,
that is like saying the Dragon Ball Z movie, the live action one was good.
It was entertaining. It was big dumb fun.
You know, that movie made me want to go back and watch Street Fighter. That's all I'm going to say.
Like, that's like, no.
I'm sorry, Raul Julia.
Street Fighter was funny. It was good in like the worst possible ways.
Until you got older.
Until you got older.
But back to Andromeda. Like, the thing is, I'm enjoying the story. The fighting is satisfying. The multiplayer is crazy good. I'm having fun with it. There's a few little things people complain about the animations. Animations, I'm sorry, have never been perfect in the Mass Effect games. You know, So I don't know why they're
But
harping
they
on
have
it
not.
now.
Well, hold on, time out. No, they may have quote unquote never been perfect, but as far as I can remember, from Mass Effect 1 all the way to Mass Effect 2, even 3, I've never seen anybody crab walk, and I've never seen anybody with butterfaces, and I've never seen anybody do this weird.
That's not animation. That's different. That's model. That's character model. As far as dude, animation. I've walked sideways. I fucking do a little like herp-a-derp walk where I'm like crawling and then walking up, and there's been all kinds of weird stuff. It's just people. This is a simple thing. People are harping on it now because there's no shepherd. They're like the bar was set high.
People are harping on it now because there's no excuse now. We gave it a pass back then because it was still new. Okay. Shit's not new anymore.
This is game day, and he didn't practice hard like he should have.
I don't know. It's a fun game. It's better. It's a cut above 90% of what else is out there. I don't see much that I want to put above the game. People are just harping on stupid shit. Like I just don't get it. The story is good. It's a fun game. I'm invested in the characters, tons of replay value, great campaign, and then a super fun multiplayer. Like it's a total package, and it's in a setting you don't see often. Now, if there were other options, you know, for sci-fi space kind of things, then you could be more critical because then you have something to compare it against. But it's like this is terrible. Compared to what? What are you playing? Well, this Minecraft is better than this. Your comparison is Minecraft. Go fuck yourself. No, I like League of Legends better. Like no, like come on. You're like comparing apples to apples. Like stop it. Like I get it.
It's
like,
terrible compared to Mass Effect 2.
Okay, that I will say. Mass Effect 2, I think, was the epitome. Except 3 had the multiplayer. If 3 and 2 had a baby, it'd be the perfect game. So I'll give you that.
I will say this because I'm more so on side. I'm more so on Yogi's side on this. For instance, like a lot of people are harping on Mass Effect because of the fact that it's not what we're used to as far as in a Mass Effect game. Because you know, with Shepard and all the stuff like that, that does hold weight to what we are dealing with now. He's not a regular soldier. You're dealing with explorers now, so it's doing a different approach. So they're starting they're basically not necessarily starting from scratch, but they're starting from a midpoint to trying to go in a different direction. Now that's why they don't have the whole pivot.
Mass Effect.
Should have called it Andromeda.
Or
New Space Age game or something.
But that's the thing; it's still in the Mass Effect universe. That's like saying Rogue One, Star Wars. That's like saying that's not a Star Wars, but that's in the Star Wars universe.
Here's what I'll do.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a Star Wars movie.
Just like the last time somebody messed up naming something, it was Final Fantasy Spirits Within. It was not supposed to be a spirit. It was not supposed to be a Final Fantasy movie.
You can't compare that. You can't.
Yes, I can because you know they messed up and they named it something they never should have. Whereas like when Advent Children came out, they clearly stated Final Fantasy.
Yeah, because with Final Fantasy Advent Children, they continued that from Final Fantasy VII. Like if you look at just the Final Fantasy games, all of those are different stories in different universes. They even made a mythos on it. All of them are different, like different dimension or different universes.
But at the same time, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying, it's the same thing because it was made by Squaresoft. At the same time, it's like when it was made in Japan, they didn't call it Final Fantasy. All of a sudden, it comes to America. Oh, well, this is Squaresoft made it. We're just going to call it Final Fantasy. And they slapped the Final Fantasy title on that movie and messed everything up because most of the Final Fantasy fans were expecting the Final Fantasy movie, which is something they did not get. They got Ghost Fighter.
Because they tack it on there for brand recognition.
Exactly.
You can keep it in the Bioware, in the Mass Effect universe, not call it Mass Effect, and then the expectation bar is lowered.
Yep.
Because after the epic of the last 3 Mass Effect games, if you don't hit that bar, you're going to have people like me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I say it's like it's an unfair bar to set because they're going with a different. They're going in a different approach with it, and they're gonna but they're keeping it like. Yes, we are expecting a lot. Like everybody was expecting a lot from this game, me included. But we still gotta take it for what it is. Now the animations, that is a big misstep, like because of whatever algorithm they use to try to check the game over all the animations. From what I read and researched.
Yeah, but see, that could be fixed with a patch. Like that's not a huge thing.
Then why wasn't it a day one patch?
Because
Dude, every game release is broken these days. That's the standard.
Look how big that game is. This is not no 10-hour game.
I'm not okay with that either.
That's not a 10. Mass Effect ain't no 10-hour game.
But you've had years to fix the faces.
Yes, you had.
I mean that it's going to suffer from Duke Nukem syndrome. Oh, this is 10 years in the making.
That is creative direction, and this is the creative space. Every designer thinks that they know design because they went to school for it, they have experience, so they feel like they're an expert. But creativity is a subjective thing by nature. So I'm sure a bunch of assholes looked at that and tested the game and said, "Oh man, I love this new graphic style. It's so Disney. It's great." And she looks like that girl from Frozen. This is awesome. You know, they probably loved it and they jerked off to it. And for us, it's a poor choice. But you know, like those are the kind of things that I don't think really break the game. Like the one thing that no one's talking about that I think is an issue. I noticed some moments where there was some frame drop and brief freezing. I don't know. My Xbox was messing up. I think my internet was having issues, so that may have been something to do with it. Like my connection was going in and out. But I noticed that those are issues to complain about. Like that stuff. Like really, no, that's inexcusable. Little minor thing. Like people gotta start complaining. Oh man, you know this person's hair. They have way too much hair. Their hair's too thick. Oh, there's too much water on this planet. Oh, that metal's too shiny. Like, come on.
With the facial animations, you gotta think about it like this too. Like they've been working on it hours and hours and then that's something that could, like, for it to be that many faces to be overlooked. They've been working on that game and looking at these faces day in and day out, and they probably became numb to it. Like if you get used to something. Like after you play the game for a while, the faces, you start like, okay, I can deal with the faces or whatever. And that's something that could have been a big a big oversight that they missed.
I think it was deliberate. They went with a different art style because, you know, they have mostly a new team, so that's part of it. And they probably said, you know what, let's stick with this because this lets people know it's a whole new direction that we're going with it, for better or worse.
But at the end of the day, you are too deep into the game to be putting out something that has issues, especially whenever your competition is looking for reasons to crush you.
Who's their competition? Tell me the game that will replace Mass Effect Andromeda. Don't tell me Minecraft, I'll punch kick you.
I'm just saying, if that's the thing, you are your own competition to the point where it's like, if you put out a bad game, because let's be real, Mass Effect has had a trilogy. It's not a bad game,
though. It's fully playable. It's fun. It's not that bad. Like, listen, play it. Don't believe
So was
the
No
hype.
Man's Sky.
No
Man's Sky was playable.
It's not.
Look what happened.
No.
Look what happened.
No Man's Sky was a tech demo. There was no substance there. They promised the world and did not deliver anything. This game was the opposite. They were pretty quiet about it. They played it down, and people were worried because of that. But it ended up being better. Like I was scared. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is not going to be a good Mass Effect game because, you know, they don't got the same original people and blah 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 blah." And I'm loving it. It's a fun game. That's all that should fucking matter. It's a fun game, and it's something different. And I can't wait to actually own the game. Like the trials got me hooked. The trial did not scare me away. In fact, I'm making that trial stretch out. Like, I think people need to get over it. Like it's a good game. I don't see the problem with this. It's just, you know what it is? It's BioShock Infinite all over again. BioShock Infinite, when it dropped, people shit all over it. There was some people that were such Bioshock fans that they loved it. And then there are other people that didn't really like the other Bioshocks, but they liked what they did with this one, and they got into it, right? But after the fact, people went back and said, you know what, Bioshock Infinite was brilliant. I mean, the storytelling and the narrative devices and the set pieces, it was just innovative. Like, wait, you were the same asshole that said it's a piece of shit and it shouldn't have been called Bioshock. It was completely different from the rest. You know? I bet you people are going to come back to it and they're going to realize, you know what, that's actually a really good game. What else is this year? Like
I said, I might give it a red box. Might give it a red box.
I'll buy it used on sale.
The one game that we keep on ragging on, No Man's Sky. That game, like you said, it came out at tech demo. And I know there's still support in the game. That came out with 2 patches for it. But I don't think it's fair to compare Mass Effect to No Man's Sky. At least Bioware is addressing the issues. They acknowledge those issues, and they're going to try to fix like the animations and stuff like that. With No Man's Sky, they didn't say not a goddamn thing. They went ghost, and you thought they ran away with your money. Like that. You thought they robbed your ass and ran. But I mean, I will give. That's the one thing I have to do. Like with everyone ragging on No Man's Sky, I will give them just a tiny bit of credit where credit is due. That at least they're still working on a game and still trying to make it better, even though that their player base is like completely gone. You know, at least
their player base is gone, their credibility's gone.
Oh yeah, all of that's gone. I mean, they're trying to fight for their credibility back, but like unlike Bioware, they at least. I mean, unlike it really like well.
That's a follower notification, man.
It's just me. It's just me.
But with Bioware, they're at least talking about and addressing the issue. No, it's not going to be in a day one. No, it didn't come out in a day one patch, but it's something so massive that it has to take time to get fixed. I'm quite sure that they're going to address the issues, like so many other companies have had issues like that before. Prime example, Battlefield 4. When that game came out, it was crap. They had so many glitches and errors in the multiplayer. Same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5. So many errors with it. But then they took the time and they fixed it. I'm quite sure because BioWare's Mass Effect is such a large part of their fan base. And we are being heard. Like even like that's one thing I will say about Mass Effect. Like you are being like with Mass Effect, you're going to be heard, even if without buying power or with just the comments and the ratings and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are ragging on it just because of Mass Effect.
No, they're ragging on it because it's the cool thing now to hate BioWare. It's like everybody on shit on Dragon Age Inquisition. You know what, motherfuckers? I'm on hour 6 of Bioshock of Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm still enjoying it, so fuck you. If I listen to everybody,
when you get to
no.
Let me tell you about Dragon Age Inquisition.
You said
I'll tell
2
you where
hours
I
in.
lost it.
You said 2 hours in, I would lose interest.
No, I jokingly gave you 2 hours. I'll give you 15. There's one part in the story where the entire narrative just dies.
Okay.
When you get there, you're going to have a hard time pushing past it.
Okay. I trust you, Beard. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I was so excited for that game. It genuinely hurts me, the fact that I ended up just disliking the game and getting rid of it. Because I wanted that game to be good.
Well, I like the fact that they kind of brought it back to the roots with like more of the factions and trying to win influence, all of it, like kind of politics of it all. But then you also have the exploration, you're setting up camps and expanding your kingdom, so to speak. Like, there's a lot of cool things there, man. And that world is so alive. Watching all the animals running around and, like, all the little side things you could do, like hunting and crafting. Like, there's so much going on there. Like, I would have missed out on this if I listened to people that said, "Oh no, it's a terrible game," but they wouldn't quantify and qualify that statement. Like, why is it bad? Oh, it's just bad. It's just all around bad. So there's no redeeming factor to this game. No, it's just bad, end to end, completely bad. Like, come on, like that doesn't help anyone. Like, even with the complaints with Andromeda, people are like, no, it's just a bad game, not a good game. Like, and I'm playing it, I'm like, I'm having fun. Like, what is it? Like, what are you playing that's so much better? Like, I'm looking at this year's releases. It's like, I can count what the games that I really want to buy on one hand as far as, like, the big releases. And Andromeda will be one of them. So I don't know what else people are playing. Like, nah, man, you know, I got to play some more of that League of Legends. That's taking up my time. They come up with a new patch. League of Legends patch 1,000,000,002. Really? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We're going long. That was just our opening. We just went in.
Have you seen the leak that is circulating the internet that may or may not be true?
Which one? Because there's
no, not that one.
Destiny 2.
Not just Destiny 2, but the Sony itinerary for E3.
Oh, see that.
All right, let me see if I can.
So I guess
see if I can pull it up here.
I think we're jumping straight into our obligatory news / rumor mill. That's probably what we're going to end the show tonight on, because we're going off on the tangents like crazy.
Well, the tangent was on Mass Effect Andromeda, so, you know, we all felt about it.
Mm.
So that's not where technically was on topic.
I also noticed that WarChild and I are the only ones in the show notes. So we're the only ones trying to keep pace.
And I also edited the show notes too.
Hey, I will get better. I will get better, okay?
I added to the show
this
notes.
Is from, I think Professor Broman tweeted this out, yeah. I don't know where he acquired it from, but
Let's see what we got.
It may or may not be true, but some of the stuff on there already exists.
Oh, Death Stranding, that's a big one that people are looking forward to.
Yeah, Death Stranding looks like
it's
going to be good.
The fact that they hint at a Bloodborne 2 has me sacrificing goats to whatever weird tentacle god you become at the end of Bloodborne 1.
Zulu?
I thought at the end of Bloodborne he just dies an old man in a wheelchair at the top of a hill. Isn't that what happens?
That depends on the ending. That's one of them.
Multiple endings. That's right.
Yeah,
there's 3.
You just sit down in a wheelchair.
And none of them make a goddamn bit of sense.
You sit down in a wheelchair and you just look back at all the poor decisions you made in your life.
Wasn't there one ending where you end up in like a brand new city or something?
There's one ending where you wake up and it was all a dream.
Mm-hmm.
There's one ending where you turn into a weird squid monster.
Yep.
And then there's one ending where you become Gehrman and you pick a hunter to continue the nightmare.
Okay, can I just say this real quick? This spreadsheet, this itinerary loses a little bit of credibility because I never heard of the publisher, the studio Naughty Dog. I know Naughty Dog, but who's Naughty Dog?
It's a splinter group from Naughty Dog.
That's the new Naughty Dog.
The new Naughty Dog.
It's not Dog. It's not Naughty Dog. It's not Dog.
So they got they're devoting a lot of time to Death Stranding, Destiny 2.
That's not a surprise.
Call of Duty Chemical Warfare. That's a great name. Jesus.
It sounds like a CD or something.
The Chemical Brothers.
Yeah.
Nice. Assassin's Creed Empire. This is Assassin's Creed MMO. It's gonna compete with Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft.
Now you can eavesdrop in the sand.
Oh my god.
I would play an Assassin's Creed MMO.
I'm afraid I can't agree with that, Beard.
I don't know how that would turn out.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Unless you can be Templar.
That one looks interesting.
maybe then, but then Templars are just nice. It's just gonna be walking around getting slaughtered by assassins.
I think I'm just done with the Assassin's Creed.
I burnt out on
been
it,
since 2.
and I love the franchise, and they just they killed me.
Well, Black Flag is where I stopped at.
The second they made a second game about Ezio, I was like, nope, I've had enough of this guy already.
Ezio wasn't bad. It's just the repetition of the game that just it gets so old. Like, I can't eavesdrop every 55 minutes. Or, excuse me, 55 seconds. That's what they wanted you to do. Hey, that guy over there knows some things. Go and see what he knows. Eavesdrop. But don't get caught.
Okay. Follow this guy, but don't let him see you. It's like, oh my lord. It's like 30 minutes of just following someone and then hiding the moment they start turning around. Like,
yeah.
Those were the most annoying.
I hated those missions.
Yeah. So, some more news. Just stepping away from the video game stuff real quick. The happiness report is out for 2016, and the United States dropped to number 14.
That does surprise me.
Number 1 on the list is Norway, and Denmark dropped down to number 2. And I think what's kind of interesting about this report is the fact that, by the way, you can get the report at worldhappiness.report. We won't go through it tonight. Get some other stuff to talk about, but it's interesting because there's a kind of the thing that people say about Americans overseas is that we place too much emphasis on happiness, and in other countries they're more about accomplishment and purpose. So I wonder how much of the survey results is more people being delirious because they don't realize they're unhappy because they're so career focused or whatever, or how much of it is really that we Americans are becoming more miserable every year. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not like we got a trump card to play or anything.
Trump card. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
Good job.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Good job.
Smite has is celebrating a birthday, so you get 33% off gems, and they have a new mode called Adventures, which is pretty interesting. You can unlock adventure points to get stuff out of the vault. Pretty cool. And they're gonna be doing that's gonna be an ongoing thing. Every 4 weeks, they'll have an adventure. Actually, every 6 weeks they have a new one, and the adventure run for 4 weeks. I believe that's how they're doing it. So it's gonna be a pretty cool little additional event alongside the other major events. We kind of went long on the other stuff. I've been wanting to kind of check in on the whole Nintendo Switch stuff, but I think we kind of beat up Nintendo enough as it is. Just quick recap for those that haven't been paying attention. You know, Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting lots of love. Some of us are wondering if it's getting a free pass because it's Zelda. That's up for debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be discussion for another time. Savage got us. What's up, girl? You know, so that's one thing to think about. The Joy-Con desync issue is hilarious because basically they didn't account for, you know, non-Japanese people having big hands and blocking the Wi-Fi signal. Like, these are things
It's the iPhone 4. It's the iPhone 4 all over again. Oh, you're just holding it wrong. Thanks, Steve.
Oh my God, dude, that's been their response to almost everything that people complain about. Like, people complain about dead pixels on the screen. They said, no. Dead pixels, that's standard because how LCD screens work. It's typical. It's standard for you to have 1 or 2. Savage got us. Thanks for the follow. I thought you already followed us. What's up with that? Did it unfollow us? Crazy. But anyway, they told everybody, no. The LCD screen is supposed to have dead pixels. That's how they work. You know, it only counts. It's only a warranty issue if you have 100 of them per square inch. That it's not defective. That's a design. That's part of the design. The dead pixel. Like, really, Nintendo? Like, and the people just give them a pass because then Nintendo's like, oh, you know what, Zelda? It's cool. I'm alright with that.
Well, if I buy it, I'm going to be one of those weird people that leaves it in the dock.
Are you?
I heard from what I hear, Zelda is actually really good, only from a few missteps.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that on the Wii U instead. Same thing I did with Twilight Princess. I bought it on the Wii, or bought it on the GameCube instead of the Wii, because that's why I bought a.
Everybody's popping in now. Aw, shit.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, that's why Nintendo always does that to me. I'll buy a system with the promise of a Zelda game, and then they'll push that Zelda release off until the next system comes out, and they'll put it out on both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That
Yeah.
sounds like Nintendo.
It's fucking crazy.
Which is
It
funny
makes no
because
sense.
even with how good the Switch version of Zelda is, from what I've heard and seen, it's a Wii U game that got ported. It's not a Switch game.
I don't know.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Switch can do.
And for some reason, like they did that with Twilight Princess. That was they bridged the gap. That I don't know. I don't want to get into it because I know people are gonna think like, man, you guys really hated Nintendo, but you know it doesn't make sense. All right, the one thing that shows that they're actually putting their engineers to work, they're using some forward thinking. They actually have some quality assurance in place with their hardware. Is they say, you know what, these cartridges are small, and kids and pets might try to put them in their mouth. Let's put a chemical in there that's non-toxic, but will leave a real nasty flavor, nasty taste in people's mouths. So that's a thing, and people are doing this challenge now where they're licking the cartridges, and apparently the flavor lingers. But you know, that shows that they're actually thinking ahead, not just being reactive. But then everything else, I just don't get it. Like, you know, everybody was like saying, "Oh, I can't believe IGN rated a console a 6.7." Who rates consoles? But I mean,
IGN does.
Yeah, IGN does, and you know what? I think 6.7 might be more than it deserves. But
how can you rate a system when no games have come out for it?
Just based on the design, the missed opportunities.
How about the regular Nintendo? If you play it long enough, you get divots in your thumbs.
Yep.
Oh god, the old school NES.
Yeah, the NES. Look at your thumb right now. Look at your thumb horizontal right now.
Yeah.
I guarantee there's a divot in the middle of your thumb.
Dude, that thing.
That's what made you a true gamer.
That
thumb
going back to
blisters.
that system, dude. That thing. Ugh, that D-pad is hard as hell.
But if you're gonna shit on something the second it comes out, that the only purpose of that thing is to play a game, to play games, that'd be like saying a DVD player sucks.
Yeah, but it's different. Like the NES came out at a time when there weren't really many things to compare against. So,
how many of those other systems had concaved buttons?
you know, I'm just saying though, and I get what you're saying, but the Switch, it shows a lack of thought. There's just none of the dime. There's just too many things. Like, with how bad the Wii U was, they really should have taken the time with the R&D and really fleshed it out.
No, you know what they did? Instead of taking R&D and fleshing it out, they gave everyone what they thought the Wii U was.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, "Oh shit, this is just a system I can take with me wherever I want." And Nintendo was like, "Wait, we fucked up our marketing on this one. No, it's not that at all. You want that?" Yes, we do. That's why I've been buying DSs. No grown adult needs a DS. If you have a laptop or a smartphone, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give me Pokemon.
Man.
You okay there, Beard?
I want a console. I want a home console version of Pokemon. That's all I want out of life.
Oh god, they used to do that.
Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon Stadium is not a console version.
It's called Pokemon Flash.
None of that bullshit.
Gale of
None of
Darkness? Everybody forget about Gale of Darkness? That game was amazing.
It's called Jade Cocoon.
Oh, you guys are killing
I want a multiplayer Pokemon that I can sit on my couch and play on a big ass TV.
Hey.
It's
called Monster Rancher.
Monster Rancher was dope. And you can keep putting discs, you can put CDs in and get different creatures. Fuck yeah. I remember the Godzilla 2000 soundtrack had a real beast monster attached to it.
If you like that kind of formula, again, I'm gonna say, I know I've said this before, but Dragon Quest Monsters is a really good series that a lot of people missed out on, and it lets you crossbreed different species and create new species. It's so cool, man.
Actually, I think they have a Dragon Quest Musou game out, or soon to be out. Dynasty Warrior style.
Oh yeah.
They have that like Minecraft version of Dragon Quest that looks freaking awesome.
I think I saw that.
I don't like Minecraft. I don't like Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors is good around the 2-3 era, not the anything after that, because it starts getting a little too crazy.
I got tricked into buying Hyrule Warriors, thinking it was going to be something more than just Dynasty Warriors.
Nope.
Somebody lied to you.
So
I was.
What else
wrong.
we got here? Did you guys hear about this? Year 2 of the Division content will be free. All the new expansions for Year 2 are going to be free for the Division. That's pretty freaking awesome.
But they fucked that up because they said they're not going to continue the story at all in the Year 2 of the Division.
Then what's the point of playing?
But it's
exactly.
Who the fuck are you guys really playing the Division for the story? Stop.
Actually,
okay.
Yeah.
That's like
okay.
That's
they
crazy
try to
talk.
They try to get you invested in the story. I still want to know what happens later. Now, do I want more modes and stuff like that? Of course. Don't even get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, that's one huge misstep that they could have done the Division. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and people in the chat are agreeing with you. Savage Goddess, TK Nightmare, they're saying they play the Division for the story. I don't know. To me, it's an MMO, and I don't play MMOs for stories. There's a little bit of lore trickled in there. Cool. I'm glad they didn't try to do like Destiny and say, hey, look at this story, and then Destiny teased the freaking blue ball the hell out of you, and then when you finally get into the lore, they're like, you know what, you're not ready for this. No, you're not worthy of the story.
Actually, the follow-up lore is actually a lot better than the lore that they just came out with in the beginning, especially Rise of Iron, and even Taken King was a lot better than what they came up with.
Because I'll say that, like, with MMO for the story, that's like saying that that Elder Scrolls Online doesn't have a good story when it actually does.
Nobody's gonna believe that because Elder Scrolls always has a good story.
It does have a great story, but let's be honest. When people play MMOs, they skip through all the dialogue and because they just want to get the grind done, they want to get the missions done. Most people just skip through that shit.
Yeah, most people, but they still got people that likes the story, just like Warcraft. I love the story of Warcraft, like the whole lore and everything around Warcraft. That has a really good story. Nowadays, you used to get away with not for a game. You used to get away with that, but now that we've grown up, like most of the people that are gamers back then are our age, 30, like entering their 30s. So we are looking for a story now. We're not little kids that, we just want to get to levels. Most people now, it's like, okay, what is actually happening? That's how I feel about most games. Like except like something like Dark Souls. That's the exception.
Well, Dark Souls doesn't have a story.
No, it actually does.
I know it does. It's all just you have to dig. You have to. You need an archaeology. You need either an archaeological degree or you need to be a fucking. To parse through that story, figure out what the fuck's going on, you
need a college research team. That's what you need.
There's too much.
Going through their 4-year tenures to find out what the what it is.
Have you watched any of the lore explained videos that the guy Vadi does?
No, I haven't seen the ones that Vadi does, but I've seen a couple of them, a couple of lore videos. I'm like, man, and then I'm playing through Dark Souls 1. It's like, where the hell he find this lore at? Like, how do?
Yeah. It's like, where are they getting this information?
I know, like, where? I don't see it.
It's almost like going back to the early days of video games. Like, there was an instruction manual with story?
Like, Doom actually had a story? Like, he was actually on Mars for a reason? There actually something.
I mean, Doom has had several stories though.
Yes, but no one knows that.
The diehard fans do.
Like, see, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, it's all right to have lore and like create a mythos, right? But what I don't like is when story gets in the way of the gameplay. It's like, oh, are you enjoying yourself? Well, hey, here's 30 minutes of cutscenes. Well, thank you for that. Now I just lost my momentum and I don't want to play anymore. And that's the problem. Like, and I think depending on what the core mechanics
couldn't disagree with you more.
You couldn't disagree with me more?
Nope, I could not disagree with you more.
That's fine. I'm just saying, that's what I look for. If I want a story, I'll read a book, I'll watch a movie. If I play a game, entertain me for fuck's sake. I want to interact with it. I don't want to sit through and just jerk off while you play some movies for me. Now, if I'm in the mood for that...
So how do you feel about Metal Gear Solid?
No, listen. If I'm in the mood for a story, I'll play a story-driven game, right? There's some games that's what you play them for. If I'm playing for the experience of the gameplay and the story is kind of tacked on, that doesn't do a service to the product. All it is just trying to just play both sides of the fence. Know what you are and just live up to that. Destiny tried to make it seem like they had this deep universe, and they should have just owned it. Hey, look, guys, this is Halo. We can't call it Halo because we don't own Halo anymore, but it's fucking Halo with MMO mechanics, and then no real story. Make it whatever the fuck you want to be. It's a role-playing game, and it's customizable, so there's no real story. Like, if you want to pretend you're a freaking hooker that, gives blowjobs for crack and the occasional reach around because you actually have the dick, cool. That's what you could do. Role-play that. That's your story. They should have just done that. Instead,
it's called Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, yeah, that too. I'm sorry, like, story is not a prerequisite for a good gameplay experience, and I find that a lot of times people just tack it in there, and it gets in the way of the gameplay, and that's bad.
There are some games. I'll agree with you. There are some games that don't need a story. I don't need a story. I don't need a story in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yep.
I don't even need a background. You give me a bridge with a barrel on either end of it, I'm good. Give me good fighting mechanics. But if it's in any way an RPG, I need a story. I need a good story.
You're the guy that just like beating the car up, weren't you?
Oh, I love that shit. Blanca, you just get up in there and start electrocuting it, boom, it's done.
Dude, mini games and fighting games were the best. Like in Mortal Kombat, you do the little thing where you have to break all the blocks. Fucking so good.
Blanca was fucking broken for those mini games.
I will agree with Beard, definitely. Like, on most games now, that you do need a story. Like, at least you can't tack on a story. Like Yogi said, you can't. That makes the game just so terrible. Like, not necessarily too terrible. Like, Destiny was, at the beginning, was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you just tacked on a story and then it just stopped. Like, you can't do that.
I have a theory about that.
You can't.
I think the story was god-awful, and the director, or the guy who was in charge of it, didn't realize how bad it was until they got to the end. And then they pulled the whole story out in order to protect us.
Really? I think they forgot about the story. That was all I think.
Honestly, I think they cut it up and sold it to us in DLC later, but I'm just trying to spin it in a positive note. Just trying. Let me try not to be the bad guy.
But I will say,
story.
Like you said, was like the story matters now. Period. Like Mass Effect, story matters. If you have a good story and you have good mechanics, that's why we loved Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
It depends on the game, though. Like, you don't need a story for a racing game. Like,
that's what I was going to
But I mean, if the racing game that did have a story was Need for Speed Most Wanted, and it turned out being excellent.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. Immersion, people confuse immersion with story. They think that storytelling is the only way to immerse someone. If there's a sense, there's a core concept in game design is the flow zone. That is when you find a perfect balance between reward and challenge. If you constantly balance that at every step of your game, where people feel there's a sense of progress, they're challenged enough where they want to push themselves harder, but they also reward in an equitable fashion. That's one of the core precipices of game development. And there's nothing about story. Story is just one catalyst, one vehicle for creating the immersion, for getting people fully engaged with the content.
Yeah, you're right. All I'm saying is you can't, like you said, you can't just tack it on. You just can't have the story as an afterthought. If you're going to have story, then it has to be a good story. And you just can't just tack that shit on and expect, like, okay, you have story. You have to have a story to have immersion. Like you said, that is not true. You have to have a DJ.
DJ
you don't have to. I know. He's
getting fired up.
I know, right? But like you said, you don't necessarily have to have a story for a good game. Like we was talking about Dark Souls. Unless you research the story, you don't really know that they have a story to the game. You don't really know about the lore and stuff like that. But that's an excellent game because it had good mechanics and challenged you. So,
sorry, I'm laughing because Beard's putting some freaking Dragon Ball Z shit in here. The blue hair. What was that? The blue hair Super Saiyan form.
Super Saiyan God mode, yeah.
God mode, yeah. Oh my God.
Super Saiyan God 2 or something like that.
Super Saiyan God, yeah.
Savage Goddess says that Wildlands is just a skin of GTA. See, I was saying the same shit. That it doesn't feel that much like a Ghost Recon game. It's a freaking GTA game.
Wildlands felt more like Division in the Woods.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I get people saying that, but it felt more like GTA.
There's certain aspects that do feel like GTA, and then there's certain aspects that feel like the Division. It's kind of like they try to take the best of both and put them together and try to make a decent game.
That never works.
Yeah. By the way, some more stuff here in the news. We get some more news.
The open world SOCOM. That's all it is. An open world SOCOM without the in-depth squad mechanics. That's what it was.
We started some controversy in the chat. You all shut your whore mouths. Lol. So anyway, more news. Reservoir Dogs. They're coming up with another game. They had a Reservoir Dogs game what was it, like 10 years ago? But this one's called Blood Wars, if I'm not mistaken. It's a top-down game. It's celebrating another anniversary for Reservoir Dogs. I think this one is Xbox One and PC exclusive.
That's kind of funny because we were talking about Grand Theft Auto 2 on yesterday.
Yep, there you go.
Grand Theft Auto 2 was so good.
If you want your top-down fix, there you go.
Classics.
Go around with a flamethrower roasting Elvises. Oh, fuck yeah.
Thank you very much.
And when you kill all of them, it gives you the achievement of Elvis has left the building.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was so good.
Good times.
That was like one of the definitive LAN party games for sure. Switching gears a little bit, I read this interesting stat that said in 18 years, 4-year college could cost around $500,000. $500,000. That's crazy.
No one's going to college.
Dude, for real.
Unless you're in Europe.
Or Canada.
It's freaking
Here's the
nuts,
thing.
man.
College degrees don't mean shit anymore.
They really don't. I
They
hate
don't
to
matter.
say it.
There's no point in going and getting a college degree anymore.
I beg to differ because it is hard as hell to get any type of job without a college degree that actually means anything.
So you
Most
go and you take
job-
that money instead and you go get a skill. You go learn a trade and you do that instead.
And also,
Going to college and just
nowadays
getting an
are-
English degree is fucking stupid.
Most jobs are word of mouth nowadays anyway.
well,
That's
and
what it seems
also,
like, at least.
most jobs will take equivalent experience in place of the college degree. The ones that,
You have to,
in my
the equivalent
experience, the ones that insist upon a college degree are usually shit jobs. I hate to say it, because I'm telling you, I'll give you a good example. I was putting in a bid on a project. Now, it's not employee boss relationship. This is just like client consultant relationship, right? This person wanted the applicants to have a college degree in journalism, communications, etc., etc. She wanted them to have a certain GPA. She wanted all these certifications, PMP, Sigma 6, all this bullshit, right? And then all these requirements must be an excellent communicator. Like, really, like, this job requirement was hardcore and super specific. And then I'm looking at the compensation, and I'm like, really, bitch? That's what you're offering for that?
All that, they're going to give you $10,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a bowl of cereal.
So, that's the thing. A lot of times, those requirements are thrown up to discourage casual career, job seekers. They'll figure it'll scare you off, and then you won't bother. But if you hold your ground and say, "Look, I know my shit better than any fuck that came out of college with a freaking paper degree," know your worth, folks. There's no job that's gonna reject you if you have the experience and you have the core values and you're a good fit for their culture, their corporate culture, And mind you, I have a college degree, and I think it's useless. The only thing it did for me was incur debt, and I had a scholarship, and I still regret it. So,
yeah, if I didn't go to college, I'd be driving a fucking Mercedes right now, and living in the house that I'm in.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not for
do agree-
everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I do agree with y'all on that note, as far as like incurring debt with college and all that stuff like that is BS. But a lot of jobs that I've seen or I have gone for I want you to at least have a college degree.
I just blame the trisodium phosphates in the cereals.
I have a degree in art. I have a degree in graphic design. I work in IT. My degree means nothing.
Yeah. Not to mention,
some places just want you to have a degree in something.
Right, just to show that you put in the effort.
You put in the effort, but it's funny because by the time you get done putting in the effort, they're like, okay, good. So we see that you've gone to college, but we still need somebody that's put in 55,000 hours of experience.
Yeah.
Or hey, now you're overqualified.
And that's the thing.
You're overly underqualified. It's like, so it's like, okay, so
it makes more sense to learn a trade, become a fucking plumber. Everyone's house is going to have pipes. That's not going to be outsourced or digitized.
I know, right?
In fact, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm working on a research project, and one of the things that I put in there are it's about automation and process management and trends in robotics, and basically how it impacts logistics and other fields. And basically I talked about some of the fields that are future-proof. And one of the things I said was blue-collar work is going to be more used than ever because someone's got to build the robots.
Yeah, it's true.
There's going to be a great need for people to weld our robot overlords. But it's true though.
Until we build the robots that build the robots.
Yeah, I said that too. I said the same thing too. But you know, there are a lot of fields that are pretty much future-proofed, and as much as they want to talk about learning machines, we're still decades, if not centuries, away from where you can have robots completely take over certain industries. But it's just really interesting. And Sandwich Goddess was talking about how in her field, like if you do STEM field or any kind of I guess biology, medical, those really specialized fields, you need a college degree. That's true, but there's so many career paths these days, and so many ways to shift. Like right now, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's a growing trend for virtual offices, which has created a huge need for virtual assistants. And that trend is not going to go. It's going to keep going up because it's a brilliant model, right? Companies are too cheap to have sufficient office space, if they have office space at all. And it's more cost effective when you hire an employee. You gotta think about their benefits. Their benefits could be half of the compensation package. Onboarding.
But here's the thing about that. Okay, let's finish.
Onboarding the employees. You gotta train them. You gotta invest so much into them, right? But if you outsource it and just hire a few VAs, virtual assistants, that work remotely, you could do it for a fraction of the cost, and they get paid more, and you save money. It's a win-win. Okay, what were we gonna say?
But what I was about to say is that companies nowadays don't want to hire somebody that they had to pay more to. They want to hire somebody that's willing to work part-time. Perfect example, actually take any company. Let's take TJ Maxx, for example, clothing company. Why? And this goes, I agree with you, Beard, as far as getting the skill, but at the same time, it's like if I spend all that time trying to learn the trade, and then they're willing to try and hire 2 people for the amount that they're paying me, I mean, that's just not fair. Again, you've wasted your time because they're looking at it like your trade is pointless. I can hire 5 of you instead of just hiring you to do the job, despite the fact you're going to do the job correctly.
If you're a plumber, if you're a plumber, you can start your own plumbing business.
Yeah.
Easily. You just need a couple of bucks to put an advertisement in the fucking yellow pages, and you need the tools, which you should have by the time you graduate. But
people are cheap.
You can easily work for yourself at that point if you have a skill.
And degree and the trades are good fallback, and it's true. Like right now, we actually have a shortage of welders. There's tons of work for welders, but no one wants to go through the effort of getting certified, and it's actually not that big of a deal, and they pay really well. My friend is a welder. He's dumb as a doornail. I love the guy, but God, he doesn't. He says he constantly uses the phrase brass tacks, and when he writes it out, he puts brass TAX. Like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a metallic tariff of sorts that you impose on people. By the way,
how do you tax that?
Yeah. So let's go back to brass tacks. I'm like, dude, you leave it out of the context you're using it in. But this guy makes easily. I think last time he talked to me, he makes about $80,000 a year just putting heat on metal. And he's an Apple guy, so he likes to buy all the expensive toys. So, what Beard is saying is true. Like having a trade to fall back on, electrician, mechanic, carpenter, construction worker.
You need to be licensed. You need to be licensed and bonded. Yes, that's.
Yeah.
And that does take money. And,
HVAC is another good one.
Eventually, you're gonna have to end up hiring somebody, which is going to cost money, which you become the monster that you're trying to avoid at the end of the day.
But if you're at the position where you can hire someone, you're in a position where you're making good enough money or you're in a position where you're making more money than you would be right out of college with $500,000 worth of debt strapped on you.
Yep.
I don't know. I just look at it like, I understand what you're saying. I can see the pros of it. It's just that the way the corporate mindset right now is just, yeah, you can do it yourself, but bigger corporations are always going to try and eat you up. And if you try and work for a corporation, they're only going to use you until they're like, okay, we can hire like 5 more people instead of just having you do the job, despite the fact you're going to do the job right. That's just how I look at it. Because even my job, it's like, you know, right now I'm holding it down, but eventually they can just be like, well, we've got 6 people that are going to replace you. So wish you good luck in your future endeavors.
You already know that company hires 6 people to replace just one. If anything, they're going to just cut you and have one person do your job and somebody and another one. I mean, that's how they do. And then plus they do that whole they try to hire people like this. The whole reason why they try to hire people part-time is so they don't have to pay benefits.
Yeah,
if they're hiring full-time, then they have to pay out benefits.
Exactly, healthcare and everything else, 401k.
That's why they get contractors. Like, yeah, you go into business but with yourself and stuff like that, like Bill was saying, but then you have to provide healthcare for yourself. And how the government is running this whole healthcare thing into the ground now, it makes it that much harder. That's the thing. Like, shit is just so ass backwards with our country. That's politics right there. That's going into politics. But like Beard said, getting a trade is. I get what he's saying. Like, I do not disagree with Beard.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with him either.
Yeah, Plus, think about it like this: it's much easier to find work, right? Because there's just that much more opportunity. You know, if you're in a very specialized field, it's a lot more competitive and less opportunities. You know, when you look at if you're handy at all, even remotely handy, right? There's so many residential places you could become a handyman for, right? And it's bullshit work. You know, how many like communities, you know, condos, wherever people live and they rent, the handymen they usually just come in, do bullshit patchwork, just enough to satiate the tenants, and then, you know, stay billable. You know, and they do maybe 3 or 4 appointments a day, and then they just jerk off the rest of the day. It's, you know, and they make good, decent money. If they get HVAC certified, they could do, you know, heating and cooling systems. That increases their marketability, makes them get a little pay bump. You know, it's a good thing to fall back on. And then, you know, it's just easy work. You're not burnt out. You could do your little thing on the side, web design, graphic design, virtual assistant, whatever your other thing is. Write a book. You know, what Beard is saying is completely legit. Like, you know, you have that blue collar thing to fall back on. There's always steady work. You know, I'm a IT guy. I got a computer science degree, and people are like, oh yeah, programming is the field to go into. Yeah, you think so? Compete with India, like, oh yes, my friend, I do it for you. I program that for you at $2 to make a very good program for you. Like.
It's not funny,
but that's the shit you gotta deal with, you know. Like, yeah, go into programming. Yeah, the people that do really well with it get paid really well, but it's a freaking struggle for the rest of us. Yeah. Don't listen to bad advice from people that have unrealistic perspectives. Like, yeah, that's the field to get into. Coding is easy to learn, and there's such a high demand for it. Do you not realize how high turnover the game studio jobs are? They'll hire 100 people, then fire 200 after the project is done?
That's because places like Full Sail or the Art Institute are just cranking out cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was the same thing with IT when the .com boom came about. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, oh yeah, IT's the way to go. And, you know, for a little while they were throwing money at us, but now...
Same thing with nursing jobs, although those still haven't leveled out yet. They still need those. Nursing jobs, I remember through most of the early 2000s up to when I graduated, they're like, get a degree in advertising.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, TK is saying in here that it takes a while to get a foothold in the trade. It's, not as much as the traditional college, you know, career man track. It's less of a struggle. You don't start off with the massive debt you do with college. College is a racket. I'm sorry, and I could say this as someone that taught at the college level. I taught adult students, who of course they were assholes because they figured because they were older than me that they knew better than me. All right, good luck. Fail hard. Good luck with that.
Go out there and be somebody.
So, you know, it depends what excites you, what your goals are. But I get what you're saying, Beard. Like, have that trade skill to fall back on. Because there are a lot of niche things that are harder to find work in. You gotta like really take your time to develop those.
Learn to be a butcher.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That's
in
true.
Zombie apocalypse.
Be like Salt Day.
In the zombie apocalypse, you'll be super useful, man.
Hey, as my brother said, there's 2 jobs that never go out of style and they'll always have work. You either work at a funeral home or a daycare. People are always being born and people always die.
That's true.
You'll never go out of work.
They'll have robots to do that eventually.
Robots to give birth.
They've already made they're working on making a mechanical womb.
I mean, yeah, but that'll make all the men useless in the world.
No.
Really? Because that would make all the women.
No.
You're thinking like, okay, look, all I know is once they figure out how to make synthetic sperm, they'll do that. And you're on your own.
That'd just be cloning.
Exactly.
They'll finally.
It all started with a sheep.
And on that note, it's about time to wrap it up. I know we wanted to get into the Paige sex tape and the photos leaked.
Wrap it up.
I know WarChild gave us an update that WrestleTalk reported that Xavier Woods was not going to be punished. They got treated as nothing has happened. And that's just one video. There's a series of videos and photos that were leaked. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was hoping that this would happen. Paige has been part of my fat bank for a while, and it finally happened. That's how I know there's a God. For you know, people that don't believe, you know, miracles happen every day.
Wow.
And I feel bad for everyone involved.
Oh man.
True. I mean, because
I don't think Paige really regrets it because she wanted out of the WWE anyway. I think she's pretty proud of what she's done. I mean, she should be. She's freaking smoking. Good lord, British accent and then she's got the sexy pasty white skin goth look going on, and God, and she got a booty. Jesus. I'm
you over there having wet baby.
Is that the cat shaking or is that you, Yogi?
That's my cat. So I got a little bell on her because she's a scoundrel. Blue's a little scoundrel, so I got to keep a bell on her so I know where she's at. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm just making sure because it sounds like you right now.
No. I mean, I'm a little excited, but you know, I'm good.
And on that note, HorsePLAY Live will be back next week.
Hey, look,
good night, everybody.
for a wrestling fan, that's the last bit. Oh yeah, and a little random thought. You guys remember Ustream? Anybody? Nobody?
Did that fold yet?
No. It's now IBM Cloud Video. So IBM's throwing their hat into the streaming business. Should be interesting. Yes, IBM's still a thing.
I took a look over at Beam the other day, or earlier today, rather.
Beam's okay.
It has like a 4-second, 5-second latency, and that's about it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's much lower. So
yeah, so you're looking at like direct contact to the streamer immediately. Which I thought that was pretty cool.
I think as far as the streaming stuff goes, and then we'll wrap up here, that even though there's going to be a lot of platforms, I think it's going to be supported because everyone's going to be like, well, this isn't working. Let me try the other one out. They're going to just keep trying different platforms until they finally give up and land on one, right?
So
as long as there's viewers there, as long as there's people there to be entertained, then it'll be a viable platform. But
so my question is this: can you still stream on your Xbox One to Twitch, or did they just replace that with Beam automatically?
Well, Twitch is still on Xbox One. Beam is just probably more integrated into the actual natural platform, so to speak.
Oh man, if they decided to take streaming directly to Twitch out of that, that would hurt.
Mm-hmm. PlayStation would get another foothold.
Yeah, that'll be the dumbest thing because everybody know, like, you got the main platform for streaming is Twitch, so like that's like saying like you're going to stop posting videos on YouTube and you're going to start using Daily Motion. Like, no one knows what Daily Motion.
Daily Motion, wow, yeah. I still have a page on there.
VidMe's on the way up. And if YouTube keeps pulling their fuckery, you're going to see those other guys start picking up big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. But it takes YouTube continuing to fuck up. If they get that, once they start losing content creators, and they'll turn their shit around real, because they'll be losing money. You know how Google is.
You know everybody wants that golden play button.
Oh yeah, I do too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Word. But folks, we gotta wrap it up. Let's go quick through everyone and see where we can connect with folks. And I'm not even making sense, but that's okay. I had a little bit to drink. Peter Hat, when you're not doing the podcast, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Beard and Hat, Twitch, Beard_and_hat. I made a Beam account. I don't know if I'll stream there or not, but again, Beard and Hat. Just look for Beard and Hat. You'll find me. Or someone with a beard and a hat on.
You know the amount of Walmart ads that are going to come up because of that?
I know, right?
Fedora and glasses with beard.
I did buy some pretty sweet-ass sunglasses.
I'm sure a lot of porn will come up, too. Tuka, where can we find you, man?
You can find me at Tuka on YouTube. I'm about to start posting on there pretty soon. But mainly on, you'll find me on Xbox Live at Tuka44. Playing anything and everything. Just shoot me an invite and I'll probably play with you if I have the game.
Word. How about you, WarChild?
Well, like always, WarChildGames.com. You could find me also at Twitch on at WarChildGames.com. Twitter at WarChildGames.com. Hold on, wait a minute. Something don't sound right.
What?
You can find me on Twitch, WarChild MKIV. Actually, there is WarChild Games Twitch as well. Plus, there is the Warbound Radio Twitch. You know, I'm trying to. That used to be my personal one, WarChild Mark IV. But basically, anything WarChild Games and Warbound Radio. And again, WarChildGames@gmail.com. Anything WarChild Games. You know.
Oh, and you know what? I forgot to mention, since we didn't get to our deals with cheap bats, real quick. Quake Champions beta sign-up is going on. So go over to quake.bethesda.net, sign up there. Mass Effect 2 still free on EA and Origin on the house. And on the Humble Bundle, they have the Humble audiobook bundle for the Doctor Who story audiobooks. Freaking a lot of good shit right now. Just want to make sure I mentioned that. And of course, I'm Yogizilla everywhere. Easy to find. Xbox Live, Twitter, Twitch, Skype. I don't know.
One more game for cheap bastard.
What's that?
Xbox Live, games with gold. Final Fantasy 15, $35.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's been going down. Like they've been putting that on sale constantly. So I think it's gonna drop some more. But it's a good price though. It's a good price. And on that note, I think that was it. Next week we'll come back and revisit the Unicorn Poopies finally. We just had a lot of news and a lot of roundtable discussions, so we hope you'll join us. And thanks to the chat for joining us. It was a good conversation. Hope to see you next week. And don't forget to join us on Discord, so you can be part of the ongoing conversation and hang out with us. You know what? We need to get Sandwich Goddess in here. She's cool. She's fun to hang out with.
Oh, awesome. I got one more location you could find me.
Oh, what's that?
In the War Ride.
Oh, my Lord. That sounds...
Wednesday.
I don't know why that sounds so dirty to me. That's dirty. You got a war ride? I got a war ride. Yes.
Hashtag War Ride.
Hashtag Snuffleupagus. What? it just
I don't know, bird. I don't know, bird.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
La, 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 da, 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 da. I'm outside.
Be easy, not too easy. That's how you catch that CD.
On that note,
Play live.